So we've got a set of screwdrivers we're going to maybe need, and we've got a little drink which is actually rum and coke. Is that it? Hi and welcome to Astronomical. In this episode we're going to do something a little bit different. We're waiting on the next episode of the Frogger project, which should be out in a few days. All the coding on that is actually finished, so I thought what I'd do for today is actually look at stripping down and dismantling an old PVR digital recorder. This is one of the ones that would take, in the UK we call it Freeview television. It's basically digital over-the-air television that you receive through your aerial. This is a Humax PVR 9150T, which I think, if I remember right, I probably bought it about 6 or 7 years ago. In this one, it was where you could put a card for pay-per-view TV. I never used that, and got some little controls in here, and it does actually still work of a fashion. It did fail at one point where it was forgetting its recordings if you unplugged it, so even if it was unplugged for like half a second, it just a bit of a slight power glitch, it would lose all its recording settings. I actually took the front off this, actual front cover I took all off, and underneath it was, on the circuit board, there was a little super cap. Basically, I swapped that out, and that seemed to solve that problem. So I think it was basically, it was the power to just keep a little chip going that was storing the recording times or something like that. I seemed to sort that out, but it's become a little bit unreliable. And now I've actually replaced this unit with one Raspberry Pi 3 and about 3 digital Freeview recording sticks that just take an aerial signal in, digital television signal in. And the Raspberry Pi then acts as a recorder according to a hard disk, and also you can access those recordings from any TV in the house. I have smart TVs in the house, and where the TVs aren't smart, I've got little Raspberry Pis behind them that actually connect up to the recorder, record everything. So this became quite redundant. So I'm going to strip it and see what useful parts there is in these, if anything. So we've got a set of screwdrivers we're going to maybe need, and we've got a little drink which is actually rum and coke. Because it is just been Christmas, we've just finished Christmas, so we'll start with a little drink of that, and let's have a look at what we need to strip down. So, let's have a look. So we've got some screws on the back. So we'll quickly take them off. What I'm expecting to see, obviously, is we're expecting to see some sort of hard disk which we might be able to repurpose. Might be able to make something of the display around there. I can see there's a little mini fan there, so we're looking at stripping whatever we can. I don't expect to see any sort of chip components that I can salvage really. There won't be any sort of memory that's of any use in here, I wouldn't have thought. So I'm looking basically at the hard disk display, maybe a fan. Let's see what else is in there. We might get lucky weight, so let's take that off. Should just slide off, should it? Have we got some? Yeah, I've got a couple of screws at the side here. So we'll just take them off. And I retired this about, it's probably nearly a year ago now, and I replaced it, as I say, with the Raspberry Pi 3 using TV head end as the recording software and a similar client. And I kept this just in case that proved a bit unreliable. There was a few teething problems with that system, but I never had to go back to this. I always managed to sort out the teething problems on the Raspberry Pi solution. So I'd never gone back to this, and now after it's been nearly a year, it's time to retire this. So are we still missing a screw that we've not... yeah, there's one more there. Need to take that off. Let's get that down. So this is not a tear down as such, this is a scavenge. Let's see what parts we can actually get out of a PVR that might be of any use. So we don't need the lid. There we go. So there's the hard disk. Western Digital. Well, this is a Humax, which are a reasonable good manufacturer of PVRs and equipment like that. So I'd expect to have seen something of a reasonable make in here. So I've got a Western Digital And what's the size of it? Half a gig maybe? Where we're looking? 160 gig, so it's actually a lot less. But for recording TV programs, 160 gig will store a lot. So I might repurpose that. On my Raspberry Pi system, you see, I've got a 1 terabyte drive, which is way too much. It runs up to maybe about 80 gig on at the most before things are sort of like getting to the point where we're deleting old programs. So 160 gig, I can do something with that. That'll be okay. Let's have a look. It's got a SATA connection, so it's got the relatively fast SATA connection, so that's great. You can get SATA to USB adapters off eBay, or AliExpress or Amazon or wherever you want to get one. They really don't cost a lot. You can get full enclosures. The only thing I'm disappointed in is the size. It's a full-size hard drive. I was hoping it might have been one of the 2.5-inch sort of hard drives, which would only be about that big on there like that. So that's a shame, but never mind. We'll manage about that. But yeah, I can certainly repurpose this as some sort of backup solution for something or other. That's it. It's got a little bit of a SATA connection there, so that's great. We can easily get some sort of adapter to go to that to USB or something like that. So let's get that out. Let's just unplug the SATA connector, or we'll get the hard drive out. How's that held in? Here's a little screw just in there. 160 gig, I must admit, I'm a little bit disappointed in that. I suppose it is quite a few years old, but yeah, I'll do something with that. It certainly could probably be used on the Raspberry Pi system for recording. 160 gigs, plenty for that, for what we use it for here in my house. That won't be a problem. So I'll put that aside, and we'll definitely have that. And there should be just one more just down here. There we go. And that was rather tiring, taking 4 screws off. So just 1 second, let's take a drink. There we go. And let's just have a look. We should have a little clip. Do we need to just pull on that, or just no? It's just push fit. Power connector will just need to be pressed there and then lifted out. And yeah, we'll have that hard drive with its connection adapter. No problem. So we'll put that to one side. Take them little screws out. I often save these little screws. I think it's usually like a 2BA thread or something like that. I have a little box of them. They come in handy for things. And what else have we got in here? We've got a little coil from the front connection. I'm going to have a look on this front here. I want to see whether we can actually, if the display is worth saving, or is it too bespoke to this unit, which is highly possible. There's a fan there we want to just have, even though they don't cost much. It's good to just put in a general parts bin. Just have things like that rather than have to order things, even though it might only be like $1 or $2, £1 or £2. Why reorder one if you've got one just easily in your parts bin? So I will definitely be having that fan. And this is this was a twin tuner unit, so you could record one program while watching the other. And you can see where the twin tuners are here as well. Here they go. That's one tuner and another tuner on the twin tuner unit, I think. Anyway, it was seen that there's 2 clocks there and 2 identical chips there, even same capacities there. So we've got 2 separate circuits there. You can almost see them. We've got 1 circuit there and 1 circuit there, almost split down there, which will be our twin tuners for our system. I mean, on this was a bit cleverer. Not only could you watch one program, record another, you could record 2 or 3 programs if you're on the same multiplex. A multiplex, basically, we've got digital freeview TV and satellite TV. A multiplex is one frequency, but with many channels being broadcast on that same frequency. So you might have 6 or 7 TV channels on one multiplex. So if you've got a program that's on one multiplex and you're watching it, you record another program on that same multiplex and another program on that same multiplex on this system. It could keep up with that. So, and with the Raspberry Pi is the same as well. If I think I've got 7 multiplexers here or something. No, not 7. It was 4 multiplexers, I think, on our local transmitter. So I've actually bought another USB digital stick thing. And with 4, you should be able to record as many programs as you want and watch as many as you want on the various TVs around my house, as long as the Raspberry Pi 3 can keep up, which is what I think it won't do. It actually does very well. I've tested it, and it's been able to deliver 3 TV programs to 3 TVs and record 2 at the same time without hiccuping, without even thinking about it. So it actually does amazingly well, or rather that the signals and data doesn't actually tax it too much. So let's say we've got this little mains coming in. I haven't discharged any of these capacitors, so I'm just going to be keeping my hands a little bit away from this. It's not been used for a while, but I don't want to be touching any of this and just getting a little bit of a jolt to the capacitor. It wouldn't give me any permanent damage, but I'm sure it'd be highly amusing for any viewers. But yeah, so we'll just keep his fingers away from that. We'll disconnect the main power from that. Surprisingly not canned in with any extra sort of screening. So yeah, this is the tuner board basically coming in here, and this is the main board. Let's have a look what we've got on here. So we've got some memory. I would bet that's some RAM there. Probably is a dedicated chip, not the main processor. I'm not just looking at it. I mean, it's big enough you think that may be the main processor, but I just suspect that might be something more dedicated. I'm not going to look up the serial numbers now. If you can see them from the video, which maybe you can, then please feel free to write in the comments what you think it might be. So let's get this front display off now. So we've got some clips we've got to undo. Like that. Pop them off. That one's clipped back on. Let's just keep my finger under that while I do this one and this one. And just pull that straight off, he says, with it not happening. Have these clipped back on? Yes. This is annoying. Let's get these off. Come on. Come off and stay off. Let's get something just sort of wedged in there to keep that from clipping back on while I just pull off these on this side, like so. And that should start pulling away. We'll just disconnect the connector from the main board, or maybe we'll do that in a minute. Some of these I've still managed to get clipped back on. By the magic of being very annoying, they managed to do that. Come on, let's get that off. We're not worried about damaging too much here, because we're not keeping this unit. And then, yeah, we've just got a little thing we need to just squeeze there and pull that up, and that's off. So we've got some sort of board there, it looks like it's clipped in, and a couple of screws as well. So we'll quickly just take them out. They are right self-tapping screws going into plastic. Set that off. And the rest of this, just I think if I just pop these, we'll just unclip. And yeah, there's nothing of any particular use in that. You wouldn't want to keep the little plastic buttons or anything, so that's for the bin. And then you've got a lot of little nice tactile switches. These feel really nice compared to some of the ones you can buy. Low profile, that means they're not protruding up too much. I often get the longer ones because if you're going through a prototyping box, then sometimes you need the long ones to clear it. Yeah, I'll probably desolder them. I'll probably have them. We've got a little infrared sensor. I probably won't bother with that. Not sure which one it is. Don't think it's well named. LEDs. Well, I've got hundreds of LEDs in the box, so I'm not going to bother taking them apart. Some sort of processor. The super cap I replaced at one point I was telling you about earlier. So really, nothing much on here that we can have. There's a bit of an LED display that used to come on in the middle, but yeah. I'm trying to figure out where that LED display actually went there. If the buttons were like that, it sort of lit up there. And yet, let's have a look. Actually, I thought this had a display, and it doesn't. It didn't actually come up with anything more than a few of these little lights. So this is, on mine, was unpopulated. This is where there would have been one. I could have sworn it had. It's amazing what your memory does to you. I only actually had the lights lighting up going across the top, and there was never any middle display there at all. So there's nothing really of any particular note. Maybe I'll take the buttons off. Maybe I'll... Oh, it looks like an desoldering job. So yeah, I'll put that to one side. I'll have those buttons. We're going to throw that out. We're not going to bother with that. So again, looking back at the main board, there's nothing we can strip from here. It's all surface mount. I'm not going to try and desolder anything this with. Absolutely not at all. Again, the tuner cans are not going to get anything from that. And so that, apart from this fan at the back, is pretty much it. So I'll strip off the fan, 4 screws again. Again, I have a box of screws. I'll keep all these screws. Come in handy when you're making little projects up and fitting things into your boxes. So we'll just get those out, and the fan hopefully should just pop out, stroke drop out, as I think it just has done. So a little screw just down there, take that out. So the fan, yep, it's just coming out like that. We'll just disconnect there. And yeah, we'll have a little fun. But unless you disagree, I don't think there's an awful lot else to bother stripping out there. I'm quickly scanning. There's nothing that you really want to bother with at all. I think the rest is all for the dump of the skip. Anyway, so a little bit of a different video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Give it a like or a thumbs up. Please comment down below and share. And hopefully I'll see you next time with an episode of Frogger. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.